Hi, I'm Brooklyn Summer. Every 4 seconds, a child disappears somewhere in the world. Imagine a family's pain when a child's been stolen. Human trafficking is a global epidemic. Voices Against Trafficking speaks for victims who are locked in a world of hopelessness. Broken Treasures, You Hold the Key is a music compilation featuring artists and celebrities who want to save the world's children. Right now, you can help save someone's child. Go to voicesagainsttrafficking.com today. Proceeds benefit child victims. We can free them, but you hold the key.
Welcome to the Songwriter Connection podcast, where we look at the craft of songwriting through the eyes of the songwriter. Each week, we make a connection with a music maker, listen to their songs, and hear their stories. From Nashville, Tennessee, here's your host, Dave Lenahan.
Well, this is episode 135, and the final one of the year. So we hope you're enjoying your holidays, and we've got a very, very special guest tonight. And I'm so glad to have Robin Ruddy. I've been wanting to have you on this podcast for a long time. Robin, welcome.
Thank you, David. It's so nice to be here.
Let me tell you a little bit about Robin before we go on. She is a thriving career here in Nashville. She's a musician, entrepreneur, working songwriter, touring musician, session musician in great demand. Plays in like 6 bands right now. Crazy. Studio owner, owns the parlor here on Music Row, in the heart of Music Row. Does some real estate. Everything she does is for the music. She's been on tour with folks like Rod Stewart and Shania Twain and Ray Stevens. You had amazing times on the road, haven't you?
I have. I've been all over the world. My guitar, my instruments have taken me all over the world.
And speaking of instruments, about everything with a string you play, right?
Well, I play pedal steel, banjo, dobro, guitar, and a few other sundry things that are not my primaries.
I have always heard, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I've always heard that the pedal steel is one of the hardest instruments to play in the world.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because you got the pedals everywhere, the knees,
you got both feet in action, both knees in action, and both hands in action.
That's crazy.
And
I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, so I could never. I have no hope at all. But
it's so cool, though. It's just such a cool instrument. It can do so many interesting things.
Oh, sure.
The way the chords and the notes just morph into something else because of the pedals.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
And you can make it cry. It just, you know, I just love that instrument. And I remember as a little kid, my father bought that Modern Sounds in Country Music by Ray Charles. And that's when I first fell in love with the pedal steel. And it's just the way it cries, you know.
Yeah.
I always loved that instrument for sure. Is that what you played on the road too when you were out there with Rod Stewart and them?
Yeah. I played, Rod hired me for the pedal steel.
Uh-huh.
He was getting ready to tour an album that he had just recorded called Still the Same. And it was a bunch of cover songs, rock songs cover tunes from the 70s, which had some pedal steel in it. Yeah. And so he was looking for, particularly if he could find one, a female steel player. Oh. And because he likes to have women in his band, and his band was about half women and half men. Okay. And so once I got the gig and got out on the road, he figured out that I could play banjo and dobro and guitar and all these other things. So he worked me into the show on all of the instruments eventually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's he like to work with? I mean, what a legend, you know?
I know. It was amazing.
Yeah. Had good times?
Good times.
Yeah. I even heard on a recent podcast that you did that you played for, he's now the king, but with the Prince at one time.
Well, I didn't play
Charles?
Prince Charles.
Prince
Charles was doing a patron dinner, and Rod Stewart was the musical act that was performing for this big $2,500 a plate dinner. Wow. And it was a fundraiser.
Yeah.
And so we got to meet Prince Charles and Camilla.
Amazing.
And I got a picture, like at the end of the gig, they said, come on, let's go take some pictures. And it was almost like a reverse receiving line where the band and the crew stood in line, and the Prince and Duchess came and spoke to each and every one of us individually. Wow. And I guess there was a camera crew around, because the next thing I know, I got a link to all these pictures.
Wow.
From that, and I got them.
So you got cool pictures.
I've got a picture with me laughing at something he said. I mean, it's really funny.
That is so amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Music has taken you great places, hasn't it?
It has taken me great places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also heard you say that everything you did was to help you continue on with the music. So I know music's so important to you.
Yeah.
And maybe you can share with us a little bit about what you meant by that.
Well, I've always known probably from when I was 10 or 11
Really?
what I wanted to be. When
Growing up in Miami, right?
Yeah, grew up in Miami. And so I just have always tried to figure out to organize my life somehow so that whatever I did to make money, if I wasn't making enough money playing music, I would do something that was flexible enough that I could continue to play music. So I've done a lot of times I've just done nothing but music, but there are times when I've had to have some supplement something. So that's where
and I think we all do, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, as musicians.
And that's where my entrepreneurial genes started to grow and come out. And I started all these businesses along the way to support what was going on. And it's been great. And ultimately, I ended up with my husband. We started a real estate firm. Larry Sheridan. And we started a real estate firm called Music Row Realty. And our niche is the people in the music business.
Wow.
Helping them buy and sell houses and whatnot.
And that led to acquiring the parlor?
No. We just did the parlor separately.
Separately from
it? Yeah. The
beautiful studio.
real estate firm was after that.
Yeah.
The parlor was, we bought that house from Randy Travis and Lib Hatcher.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Back in the late 90s.
Okay.
And we gutted it to the studs.
Wow.
And took the roof off, added a whole second floor of offices, and blew out the back and added the studio. So it was a ground up construction of a studio. And it's just an amazing, amazing place to create.
I toured it once when you first opened.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Just
beautiful.
awesome. Can't wait to do it again.
I think you're going to be coming in and recording there soon.
I would love that.
Yeah.
It'd be an honor. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's talk about your songwriting. First of all, I want to talk about this new project you have out because we lost Larry not too long ago, and it's so sad and tragic. And so this whole new project has been healing happens, but it's been a healing thing for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's extremely healing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The songs just, they started off when he was sick, and I wanted to, I don't know, it just came to me to write something that was a healing type of a chant. It just came out of the sky one day when I was walking from the hospital room to the long skywalk to my car in the parking garage, and so that kind of kicked it off. And then I started writing all these songs that were relating to healing. And then once he passed, then I started writing these songs about what the experience of, what it was like and all the different things you go through when you're grieving someone. And then by the time almost a year later, I went, wow, I have this body of music and it all has a thread going through it. And I decided to go ahead and put it together and put out an album of it because it was just, I don't know, the songs are really strong.
Yes, they are.
They're all solo writes. They're just, they were kind of channeled in some way.
I heard you say something about how Larry was with you through the whole process.
It was almost like we were still communicating after he passed through some of these songs. It was just like, it's almost like I'm talking to him in the songs.
I only met him once, maybe twice. I just remember him being such a great guy.
Yeah, he was.
What
he was a terrible great guy. Yeah. It
was cancer?
Yeah.
I'll say it like I always say on the radio, cancer sucks. And,
it does.
I lost a brother to cancer, and it's just so tragic.
Yeah.
This is an important record, and I think because anybody who's lost someone could find healing through this record. And I also, not only are the songs great and sonically it's so great, but I think it's really a great love story. It really is, Robin, and you are to be congratulations.
I want to tell you a couple stories about after people have heard it.
Please do.
One of them is my friend lost his dad, and of course his mother lost her husband about the same time that Larry passed, and so I gave him the the record, and then he played it. He just recently played it for his mother, and she was busy. She said, "I don't know. I don't have time to sit down and listen to a whole record." And he said, "Well, that's okay. We'll just put it on in the background, and you can, go do whatever you have to do, clean your house or whatever." And so after the second song came on, she stopped what she was doing and went over to the computer where the speakers were, pulled her chair up close to the speakers, and just got involved in the record. She wanted to hear it from that point on.
She was hooked.
She was hooked, and they sat and listened to the whole thing together at the very end, until the very end, and then she got done listening to it, and she said, "Well, she just covered all the bases. That is so good." She said, "Everybody in the world needs to hear that record."
I agree.
Yeah,
wow.
So that was really special. And then another story is that one lady said after she listened to it, she said, "I just love that project." She said, "It made me go home and just be nicer to my husband."
That's something. You know what I'd like to do? Let's play the title cut. This is the album is The Healing Happens. Robin, you played all the instruments on this, pretty much?
Yeah, I did not play the harmonica or the fiddle or the bass or drums.
Bass or drums.
But I played all the other. I played pedal steel and guitars and dobro and banjo, all of that stuff.
We'll talk more about how it all comes together. But let's listen to it. This is Healing Happens, title cut of the new Robin Ruddy CD, and our guest on the Songwriter Connection.
One tear at a time. One day I looked up and I wasn't crying. It sneaks in quietly without even trying. Healing happens one tear at a time. Of the heart run deep. The mountain to climb is so steep, but with kindness and love and some help from above, I'm learning to finally breathe. Healing happens one tear at a time. Without even trying, healing happens one tear at a time. It's a lazy river that flows, winding and drifting so
That steel is just amazing in that song. It's perfectly done, Robin.
Thank you.
Really, really a great song.
Thank you.
It happens a tear at a time. And it's really important to let those tears out.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Like I said, I lost my brother to cancer and took it extremely hard. So I can't imagine. Only begin to imagine what you went through. But healing does happen, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah, and it's never gonna probably ever be the same, as it was. It's just gonna be it's just a different thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all about the process of writing and a cathartic project for sure. Did the songs just seem to flow out?
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I had a lot to say.
Yeah.
Because they just flowed out. I mean, I've never had experienced that before. Usually writing lyrics is kind of not that hard, but it's not like this. This just came...
Just rolled right on out.
Fully baked, It was amazing.
Because it needed to be written, I really do.
It needed to be written, yeah. It was just like the emotions. Really, all these songs are just about the emotions.
Sure. And that's what music is. Music is emotion.
It is.
Yeah.
And so the emotions were so heightened when I was going through it. I guess the songs like you said, they just needed to be written.
Yeah.
And that's my way. I think everybody deals with grief in a different way.
I think so too.
And everybody's got different avenues that they can choose to use to get it processed, like writing in your journal or doing painting, or, walking or talking to therapists or whatever it is. But in my case, songwriting has always been my therapy.
Yeah.
And it's just a great way for me to express whatever it is I need to express. And you can try to disguise it in a story if you want, or you can just go ahead and just say it is what it is.
You find your way.
You find your way.
You really do. I just can't imagine what it would have been like if you didn't have a creative bone in your body to deal with that. You have to somehow.
You'd have to somehow figure it out.
Yeah,
there's books, and I read a lot of books, and I did some group grief counseling, and I actually met some people in that group that we still get together as often as we can. We used to do it once a month, and then one of the girls moved out to Pennsylvania, so now every time she comes into town, we meet together.
It's important to share grief as well.
Yeah, we all kind of started our journey at the same time. So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
And they must love this record too.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. Now, what it takes, not all depressing, down.
No.
There's some really neat songs on here.
Yeah, there's some upbeat things and up-tempo, fun, silly things.
Yeah. Every little thing that you do for me, that was such a cool song. I think that was the first one I heard from this record.
Yeah.
And you've got your guitar, and I'm just wondering if maybe you can play that for us live and tell us about that song and the writing of that song.
Well, that song, when you lose somebody that you live with, you don't really have any idea of what they do in the relationship. They just, things get done and you're a team, and one person does this and another person does that, and you think to yourself, I'm doing everything, but you're not. Guess what? You're not. And so that's what, just this song came to me because, of course, right after he passed, then everything starts to break, and he was the one that always fixed stuff, and so I had to figure out how to do all these different things or who to call, and I'm sure anybody who's lost anybody understands this.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
It's pretty overwhelming, and so this song came out of that. It's called Every Little Thing.
Okay. Robin live around the dining room table.
That you did it for me. Keeps coming up every day. There's something I need. Yard needs a mowing, car needs a fixing, and the dogs are digging up the dirt. Refrigerator's buzzing, I don't know why. If you were here, you'd make it work. Every little thing that you did, you did it for me. Keeps coming up every day. There's something I need. Dinner for two, dinner for one, and a glass of wine at the end of a long, long day. I got a problem I can't figure out. I wanna know what you'd say. Every little thing that you did, that you did, that you did, you did it for me. Keeps coming up every day, every day, every day. There's something I need. Of all the little things you did for me, the biggest thing you did was let me be me. Every little thing that you did, that you did, that you did, you did it for me. Keeps coming up every day, every day, every day. There's something I need. Help me out now. Every little thing that you did, that you did, that you did, you did it for me. Keeps coming up every day, every day, every day. There's something I need.
Robin and one guitar, folks. You play that thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, great song. Every little thing. And it's from the new record, which is called Healing Happens, and one you just absolutely have to hear. Let's talk about the string instruments. Which was your first instrument, Robin?
I started off when I was just a little itty bitty tyke, playing the ukulele.
Ukulele, okay.
Ukulele.
How old were you?
I was 7.
7? Okay.
Mm-hmm. 7, I think, somewhere around that.
Uh-huh.
Then when I was 8, my mom got me piano lessons, which was great because I learned the foundation of music, how to read, and all of that stuff. And
a little bit of the theory, right?
Music theory, all that. And then my sister had a guitar, and I wanted to learn how to play the guitar, and so she showed me a few things, and then my parents said, well, if you learn how to play 3, because I wanted a guitar. Okay. They said, if you learn 3 songs before Christmas, we'll get you a guitar for Christmas.
Wow.
So they gave me a challenge, and I did. I learned the 3 songs before Christmas, and Christmas Day. Do I remember what songs they were?
Yeah,
no.
Just curious.
No, I
don't. You learned 3?
I wish I did. That was fun. I'm sure some folk songs or something, something simple.
Yeah.
But, so that was my first audition that I passed.
And you passed?
Yeah, I passed it.
You got your first guitar?
Got my first guitar.
Yeah. It's 7, 11? 7, 8 years old?
I was probably about 10 by then.
10?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I just kept on going from there.
Yeah. I remember my brother and I both got guitars. I was 11, he was 9 for Christmas one year. It was the best gift my folks could ever give us.
Ever.
The gift of music, right?
The gift of music, yeah.
So.
And I was trying to pass that along to my my little grand nephews and nieces. And I got them ukuleles.
Did you?
Yeah, I got them ukuleles. And I don't live in the same city, so we would have had to do this on Zoom. But I was going to teach them how to do it on Zoom.
That's cool.
And I just think they put them away. I don't know. I don't think that they took to that. But one of them is taken to the piano, so she's doing pretty well on the piano. So that's good.
That is very good. Yeah.
And
so guitar, and then from there, where'd you go?
Then I learned how to play. I met somebody that played some bluegrass, and I had never heard bluegrass before. Oh man! And so I got way into bluegrass and flat picking. The Lester that kind of thing. And, so that just lit my fire on just learning all of those songs, all those bluegrass songs. And then, of course, I'm in a bluegrass band playing a rhythm guitar, and everybody gets to do a solo except for the rhythm guitarist. And I wanted to play an instrument where I could do solos.
Sure.
And so I decided to get a banjo and learn how to play the banjo. And I got the banjo probably when I was around 19, something like that.
Did you take to it quickly?
Yes, very quickly. Yeah, the banjo player in our band showed me how to play Cripple Creek. That was the first song I learned. And showed me how to, the picks. So it was a very foreign thing, the finger picks and all of that, learning the rolls.
Yep.
But I just loved to practice, so I would just sit around all day long at any minute that I had and practice and got good at it.
Yeah, I'll say.
And then later on, I guess I was in my mid-20s, I decided that bluegrass was it just seemed like such a limited market share of the big picture of music.
Yeah.
So, and I always loved the sound of the pedal steel. But somebody told me, I don't know, so there was this perception, this limiting belief that I had that you'd had to be really coordinated to play the pedal steel. And so I didn't do it for a while. I just loved the sound of it and enjoyed it. Yeah. And then I went going back to college and taking classical guitars. I was on the classical track and taking classical guitar. And my guitar teacher said, "Robin, you are the most coordinated student I've ever had."
Wow.
And I went, ding, 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 ding.
I can do this.
She said that, and what I took from that is, oh, wow, maybe I can play the pedal steel, because that's what I really wanted to do. I didn't really want to learn how to play classical guitar.
Yeah.
I wanted to play the pedal steel. So I just right after that, I got my first steel, and signed up for lessons with Buddy Charlton, who was with Ernest Tubb and the Texas Troubadours back in the Buddy Charlton. And
might as well take lessons from one of the best.
Yeah, he was so good.
Wow.
Leon Rhodes was the guitar player, and they did all these twin bebop kind of things together. It was so cool.
Awesome sounds.
Yeah, so he was my mentor for steel.
How about that?
That was really one of the few instruments that I definitely took time and got a mentor for. Most of the rest of it I just learned by ear and figured it out from books and records. But the steel is complicated.
Oh, I just can't imagine.
I couldn't quite wrap my head around how it worked. So that was great.
When did it finally just something click that you made the quantum leap?
When I got in,
all of a sudden it came together. You said it seemed so complicated.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was studied with him for a year and a half. Yeah. So somewhere along that year and a half, it started to come together. I'll tell you how the lessons went. This is crazy.
Okay.
This is back in the cassette days. So we go in, the pedal steel shop's in the back of a Harley-Davidson dealership.
Okay.
So I get my steel out of the car, put it on the hand truck, and wheel my hand truck through the Harleys that are on display, hoping I don't knock one over. Yeah. And all the old men are looking at me and stuff, and I'm going, hi. and I get back there and set up the steels, and we set up our steels facing each other. And so the lesson would go something like, okay, we're going to learn this little da-da-da-da-da-da. He would play something, and then he says, we're going to learn that. And so it would start with, okay, put your bar on the 3rd fret, put your left foot on the A and the B pedal, and mash them down, and then pick the 10th and the 8th and the 6th strings, and then let go of the A pedal, and then let go of the B pedal. And that's the first move. That's one thing. That's boing,
That's cool. Wow.
And then we would just he would walk me through it step by step like that.
Wow.
Okay, now move your bar to the 5th fret, and then play these strings, and then this pedal configuration, and then let down the knee lever or add the knee lever, whatever it was. And it was all verbal. There was nothing written down. And so the lesson was approximately an hour long, and I would listen to that cassette on the way home, because it was about the same amount of time to get home.
Okay.
And I reviewed it in my head the whole way home just to see if I could remember it. And then I'd go home and I'd set my steel up and then go through the lesson again to review it again to make sure that I could remember what we did. And then I would I'd record a guitar track with a click track, with a drum machine. I had a drum machine at the time.
Okay. Play along with it.
And to get it in rhythm, and I'd record a really slow version of whatever it was so that I could play it along to a guitar, so I could get the intonation right and the timing right.
Yeah.
And then midweek, I would record another version that was faster. And by the time I got back around to the next lesson, I was pretty much on top of it, the song.
That's dedication.
Yeah, it took a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
But I just loved it. I couldn't have been happier.
Very cool story.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your songwriting journey next. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be back. Don't go away.
You're listening to the Songwriter Connection, connecting with music makers and hearing their songs and stories. Now back to the show with your host, Dave Linehan.
The incredible Robin Ruddy is our guest on the Songwriter Connection. New record out is called Healing Happens, and it's one I definitely recommend you give a listen to. And I think you're going to just love it. I know you will, actually. If you're listening on YouTube, please just click and subscribe, because that helps us, although we're not the video podcast yet. Maybe someday. We're looking at options. But we do appreciate you, because now we are approaching 500,000 streams worldwide, and that's just amazing. And that's thanks to you for spreading the word.
That's incredible.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Good for you.
I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
So, I want to learn more about your songwriting skills, and when you first realized that songwriting was something you wanted to do.
Songwriting goes way back to those early days when I first got my guitar. I started writing songs
right away
when I got my guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and it goes back again to the feelings. It was a way for me to process my feelings.
Yeah,
I was kind of a shy kid.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't know, I guess maybe one of the things we didn't really explore much in my family was how to express your feelings. Mm-hmm. And so I just figured out that that's how I could express my feelings, was to write a song about it. Nice. And play it for whoever, and that would like communicate. It was a communication tool for me.
Okay.
In the beginning.
Wow.
And then I did a bunch of songwriting studying. Mm-hmm. I went to New York and studied with Sheila Davis, and I studied with Pat Pattison, who's the head of Berkeley Songwriting.
Yeah, it's great books, Pat Pattison.
Yeah, he is amazing. I learned a lot from Pat. And then, reading books but really what makes you a good songwriter, I think, is just to write thousands of songs and co-write. So I did once I moved to Nashville, that's what we do in Nashville, is we co-write.
It's so true, and we hit upon it on this show all the time. Even if you're not in Nashville, you can find co-writers.
Yeah.
And if you find people that have that like interest, see if there's an NSAI chapter near you, and you'll find people. Here in Nashville, it's easy. Mark Allen Brown always says, people say, how do we find co-writers? And Mark says, well, in this town, you just toss a stone. You're going to hit somebody that writes music. But it is important, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I learned a ton from doing that. And everybody's got their own style, and some people you won't click with.
No, that's true.
You got to find the right chemistry, but boy, when you do, it's just the songs are always better with more than one mind working on it.
I agree. Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And so I've done for the last, I don't know, a couple decades, done all this co-writing. Yeah. And so this Healing Happens project is the first time I've ever done a full project of just me writing. Because I think I've learned, I got the craft of songwriting down by doing all of that. And then I had something to say, because that's the one thing you miss when you co-write is I would typically try to write the story of whoever is going to sing it. Like if I'm writing with an artist, I figure out where their head's at and what is important to them, and we would write their story. Yeah. And I would help them craft something that would be something they would want to sing. Yeah. And that's how you get cuts around here.
That's
you write
exactly
with the artist.
Right. That's exactly right. Write with the artist.
And write what they want to write.
And write what they want to write.
And so this was the first project I think I've done in a million years that I just gave myself the gift of just saying what I wanted to say. Mm-hmm. And it came out really honest and really that's poignant.
That's what I love about this record, the honesty.
Yeah.
And very poignant. Why don't we play another song from, can I play one that I just really love?
Yeah.
And I want to talk about The Monster in the Closet.
I played that on Halloween.
Did you? Yeah, you have to, right?
At Spookfest.
But it's an interesting story, and tell us about it.
Yeah, The Monster in the Closet, I just figure everybody has a monster in their closet or somewhere, some demon of some sort. Yeah. And it can take the shape of anything. It could be grief. It could be addiction. It could be just depression. It could be all kinds of things. But there's usually something that just, I don't know, it's kind of there with you. It's your little companion, whether you like it or not. Sometimes you do like it and you don't want to let go of it. And sometimes, it's not good for you. So that's what this song's about. Let's
play it, all right? This is A Monster in the Closet from the new album, Healing Happens. Robin Ruddy is our guest on the Songwriter Connection podcast. Interesting twist at the end.
There's a monster in the closet that's got a grip on me, a dark and dangerous demon that only I can see. Sometimes it makes me laugh, but it never sets me free. closet. They call it different names. No matter where it comes from, the destruction's still the same. Friends and family look away, but they still feel the pain of the monster in the closet. The monster in the closet. If I turn on the light, will it go away? Truth is, in the end, it's the monster that I crave. There's a monster in the closet. A monster in the closet. There's a monster in the closet that's got a grip on me. A dark and dangerous demon that only I can see.
In the end, it may be the monster that you crave. That's a really got me. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool song.
Thank
Very
you.
cool song.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the recording process. Where did you start with this? I know this is a very special project, so
Well,
planning this out had to be just...
I did this whole thing bass backwards, so
How do you do it ass backwards?
I started off these songs were just with guitar vocal.
Okay.
And went in and recorded them as guitar vocals. They were raw.
Okay.
And when I just felt like I had to do it, I had to get it
down
so that it sounded good.
Yeah.
And then I developed all these more songs, and then I started thinking, oh, wouldn't it be cool if that one had pedal steel on it? And so I'd add a steel part.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that be cool if that one had a dobro part? So I'd add a dobro thing or whatever. So I start to add the color instruments.
Yeah.
And then it's starting to get flushed out, and I just started adding harmonies, and then I started listening to the whole thing together, and I thought, you know what this really needs is a rhythm section.
Which usually you start with, right?
You should definitely start with a rhythm section and build on top of that.
Yeah.
So that was, I hired a bass player and a drummer. I had played bass parts on everything, and then I thought, I think it would be better if somebody that's really a bass player that would be able to do a better job. So I got a bass player and a drummer, and we did almost all the songs. We did, I think, 10 or 11 songs. And then, of course, when you play guitar to a click track, it's different than when you play guitar to a human drummer and human bass player that's got, there's the dance that you do. There is. There's musical just give and take and flux and kicks and things that needed to be there on the guitars.
And need to match.
So that led me to redoing the guitars on quite a few of them. Not all of them, but quite a few of them. And like the Every Little Thing song, that song used to be like every little thing that you did. It was straight.
Yeah.
And now it's every little thing that you did. So it's got a bounce to it.
Yeah, bounce.
And that happened in the tracking session when we tracked the drums and bass. And so, of course, I had to redo the vocal. I had to redo the guitars.
Starting over from scratch.
Yeah, so it was... Fortunately, I own a studio, so...
Yeah, well, which has got to be cool.
Yeah, that's cool. So I can just go in and do it. But
I would be consumed. I know that I would be spending all of my time.
I did, yeah. I mean, it was during the pandemic.
Oh, sure. Well,
the whole thing happened during the pandemic.
Well, that's That was one fortuitous part of it.
Yeah, it was.
You had time.
I had all the time in the world.
Oh, my. So how long did the project take?
Well,
and I'm just talking about producing, not the writing. Yeah.
Well, it's like the whole thing started with the writing. It started in 2021.
Yeah.
Probably in March of 2021. And maybe, and I didn't put it out until October 31st of 2023, so 2.5 years. I've been sitting on this thing for 2.5 years and tweaking it and doing the mixing and the then creating a marketing plan and all the things. There's a lot goes into it. People don't understand how much goes into creating music. Yeah. That's good, or any kind of music. It just takes a lot of time in the studio.
It does, yeah.
And to do one 3-minute song, it could be representative of 30 hours or more, or 50 hours.
It's just crazy to think about, but it's so true.
Yeah, it's just whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So
something else, yeah. You've got a new project that you're working on early 2024.
I think it's going to come out. Some new music is going to be coming out from 16th Avenue Breakdown, which is a band that I'm with that does hippie grass meets 70s rock.
I love it. Because, we always talk about creating your own genre on this podcast. Don't lock yourself into something. But, wow, what a cool mixture of stuff.
And it is a really cool mixture. Everybody's really talented in this band. But one of the guitar players he's just a shredder. Yeah. And he's so good. And I play banjo and pedal steel and some guitar on that project. Yeah. And then Matt is that guitar player. Matt Stamps is the lead singer, and Kathy Stamps, his cousin, is the percussionist. Okay. And Scott Shively is the other guitar player and singer, and me. Wow. And so it's 4 of us, and then we hired a bass player and a drummer to do. I got you. To do the album.
So you playing around Nashville these days with that band or no?
We don't have anything in the books. I think we're gonna start in 2024 booking
when the record is released. Just give us a name again.
16th Avenue Breakdown. And it's
16th Avenue, folks. That's we're talking Music Row.
Yeah, that's Music Row, and that's where we rehearsed. That's where we did all the writing. That's where the studio is that we recorded it. So we figured that was an appropriate.
Didn't record this one at the Parlor?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the Parlor is on 16th Avenue.
16th Avenue.
Yeah,
okay.
south.
Yeah. You have seen Music Row change a lot.
Oh my God!
In the years that you've been here, just since when you owned the studio. What, 2000? Did you say?
Yeah. Just since then, just in the last 5 to 10 years, it's just insane.
Isn't it crazy how it's like little places I used to write with on the Row are gone.
They're now high rises.
They're high rise apartments. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So when anybody visits and they want to see Music Row, I go, "Come on, drive me down what used to be Music Row." I mean, it's still considered, but I mean, it's not like it was.
No, it's very different. Yeah. I drive around there and I look up at the buildings and I go, I don't know where I am. Where
it happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's so disorienting.
It really is.
It's funny.
And now Bobby's Idol Hour, which has been a part of Music Row for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
Now it's like in between 16th and 17th, and there's all these high rises around going up.
Yeah.
But it's still that little place.
It's just a little postage stamp of a place.
I was to say, last night I drove through the Gulch and I passed the Station Inn, and it's I was shocked.
The same.
It's still the same, but everything around it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know I'm coming up to it somewhere. There it is.
Yeah, just look for the sky. The one patch of sky where you can see.
Yeah. Oh my! I imagine you played there a lot over the years. Huh?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. But I haven't played there lately, but. That might be a good place for 16th Avenue Breakdown to play.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
CD release party. There you go. I'll make that happen. I'll be there.
Okay.
You let me know.
Okay, I will.
I'll be there. That sounds like an exciting project. Yeah. Well, I want to play another one from the record. This one really hit me hard listening to this. I love the song Carry On. And maybe you can talk a little bit about that, and this will probably come to the end of the show today. Carry on.
Okay.
Carry on.
Well,
carry on.
When you know, when you go through this process, a lot of people come out of the woodwork and to support you. It's really amazing and really, really heartwarming. And I was just talking to an old friend that I hadn't seen or heard from in years and years, and he called up and we were talking and just enjoying catching up. And at the end of the conversation, he said, "Well, carry on." And so I thought, yeah, I guess I just need to, I mean, that's all I got left to do now is carry on. So that was our little thing. And he said that's what his dad used to tell him.
Oh, wow.
And so that's where that was the genesis of this song.
So you knew that's going to be a song.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be a song.
Awesome. Well, let's listen to it. This is Rob and Ruddy from Healing Happens. You're on the Songwriter Connection podcast.
We had dreams, we had plans, we had it all figured out. Walking arm in arm together, straight into the face of doubt. Your memories will stay with me, like the words of our favorite songs. And all that's left for me to do is carry on. Carry on. We somehow knew how to make each other strong when times got tough, when our knees got weak and the days got long. We lift each other up. Your memories will stay with me, like the words of our favorite songs. And all that's left for me to do is carry on. Carry on. I hear you whisper in my soul, you're gonna be fine. After all, you set me up to fly, and your memories will stay with me, like the words of our favorite songs. And all that's left for me to do is carry on. Carry on. Carry on. Carry on. Carry on.
Robin Ruddy is our guest on the Songwriter Connection podcast. Carry on. And you are still carrying on. Yeah. My heart goes out to you so much. I mean, I know it's hard, which you went through. And Larry was just a great guy and your soulmate.
Yeah. Yeah. I miss him every day.
I'll bet you do. Yeah, you know. But this record right here is important. And I think not only for you, but for everybody that's gone through loss of any kind. That's Healing Happens. And it's out there everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's out on all the digital platforms. But if you want to support the arts,
Yes.
you can go to robinruddy.com and shop.
Yeah.
There's a shop there that you can buy either a digital version or a physical version. And there's also a Healing Happens journal that I created, and a candle, a little Healing Happens candle. And it makes a nice gift.
Very nice.
For somebody that you know that might be going through something like this.
I'm a vinyl junkie, so I guess is it on vinyl?
I don't have a vinyl yet. I don't know if I'll do that, but maybe I might consider it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So the website again is
Robin Ruddy, Ruddy, and that's Robin with an I, Robin.
There you go.
RUDDY.com.
Oh, there you go. Author too. I read a book of yours not too long. I wanted to mention this earlier, but I forgot. Tell us about the book. Is it still out there to be read?
Yes, it's still on Amazon.
So cool.
You can go to Amazon and find Coconuggets.
Coconuggets. It's a cool book.
Coconuggets, the 10 Secrets to Success in a Coconut Shell. It's adorable, a little business light book. It's a story. It's kind of almost like the old parables, and all the characters are personified animals, except for one, and that character is a human, but all the others are little animals, and they have roles to play into telling the story.
Yeah,
and it's a rags to riches story about entrepreneurship.
It's really something. I really enjoyed that book.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to touch on too is the project you did with the Country Music Hall of Fame, Miss Robin's
Musical Farm.
Yes. That was so cool.
I love that project. That project makes me smile every time I listen to it.
Yeah.
It's called Miss Robin's Musical Farm, and it has songs that I wrote that are each song is an somewhat educational or fun song about an instrument that I play. Yeah. And it's got kids singing. It's a kids album.
Yeah.
And it's got kids singing, and it's there's the kooky bouzouki and the
bouzouki. It's an interesting
play
instrument.
the guitar, and it's got a mandolin, and it's got the 5-string banjo, like the banjo one. 5-string banjo, ring ding dilly-o ring. Why does this banjo only have 5 strings? One is short and the others are long. That's how we get the twang in a bluegrass song.
I love it. All stuff you've written too, right?
Yeah, all stuff I've written.
What a cool project.
And I got kids to sing with me on it, and it's adorable.
That's out there and available too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Robin, thank you so much for taking this time. I know how busy you are.
Thank you for having me. I've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Yeah.
Now this seems to be the right time.
And all the best with the new project as well, and this one as well.
Thank you.
Healing Happens. Robin Ruddy, our guest on the Songwriter Connection. Thank you, darling.
Thank you for listening to the Songwriter Connection podcast. Find us on social media at Songwriter Connection. Also, listen to Dave Lanahan's Nashville Connections radio show. It streams live every Friday morning on WOBL and WNOI. Look for us on Facebook and YouTube. See you next time on Songwriter Connection.